If you're having cravings for alcohol, you may want to check out this video. What's up, guys? I'm the Sober Life Coach AC. On this channel, we help you live a happy, healthy, sober life. If you like this channel, please like, share, and subscribe with someone you know who's a problem drinker and might need my help today. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the biggest topics in the history of alcohol, I'm starting to notice, is cravings. This quick medical warning: if you cannot go more than 1 to 2 hours without a drink, if you're having, you can have seizures, you can have those kinds of things, please seek medical attention. There's a difference between a problem drinker and an alcoholic. An alcoholic is someone who's physically addicted to alcohol. They've done some things to their brain, they're rewired a little bit so they can have seizures, they can have severe complications from that. But if you can go more than 1 to 2 hours without a drink, maybe a day, maybe 8 hours, maybe 10 hours, maybe a week, whatever it is, and you're just curious about living a happy, sober life, then you might be a problem drinker. And if alcohol is causing you a problem, this is the channel will help you get solutions. I am been alcohol free for the past 3 years, and I did it without AA and mostly without willpower. So today we're going to be talking about a big topic. It's going to be cravings. And so why do we have cravings? But cravings are just a response pattern from your brain that you've linked to alcohol. So you see alcohol as a solution, and now your brain is linked to that solution. So now every time you have that certain problem or that thing in your environment, whatever is triggering you, and now that you will have a craving to alcohol. A lot of time people get home from work, they're stressed out, they've linked in their brain that alcohol is a solution, and now alcohol becomes that solution every single time. So every time you do it, repeat it over time, now you're going to be having that craving every time you go every time you walk into your door, every time you sit in your chair, every time you see a certain person, every time you have a certain emotion, like anxiety. Mine was social anxiety. Every time that social anxiety comes up, you get triggered to have a drink. And that's just the way your brain works. It creates patterns inside your head. Now, there's numerous things that can cause alcohol cravings. Your environment can act as triggers for cravings, and many policies of the group known as AA advise members to avoid the people, the places, the things that are going to trigger them, just to make sure you don't have those triggers, just to make sure you don't have those cravings. In addition to that, they have an acronym called HALT, which is hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. HALT is great. Hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. And you should be aware of all these things. You should be aware if you're hungry, you should be aware if you're angry, you should be aware if you're lonely or tired. And trying to avoid these things doesn't work. Trying to avoid these things can be hard work. Willpower is one of those things that actually people don't really notice or know. It's kind of an unknown fact that willpower is not unlimited. Your willpower actually wanes over time. That's why when you go into a grocery store, the produce section's right in the front of the store, because you have to pick up those groceries, or you have to pick up that fruit, you have to look at it, you got to make decisions, and that wanes your willpower. So when you go into the next aisle with the Doritos, boom, you're buying junk food. It's the same kind of situation here. Your willpower is going to wane over time. So willpower alone won't actually help you curb your cravings, and that's my experience anyways. It did not help me curb my cravings. So I think understanding your environment and your triggers and getting past them without avoiding them is a way better strategy for me. And that's exactly what I did. Even when I quit smoking, when I quit alcohol, I actually put myself in those situations where I'm going to have those cravings, just so I could learn to deal with them. Especially smoking. Smoking is one of those things where, I quit smoking. I smoked since I was 12 years old, and I quit at the age of 27. So I had smoked for a long time, and I decided to quit. Instead of, thinking that I had to avoid cigarettes all the time, blah, 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 I actually pushed myself to go into those situations where people were smoking, go into situations where people were hanging out on lunch breaks and whatever, and I eventually got used to those cravings, and I was able to get over it that way. So that worked for me. Maybe it will work for you too. I can almost guarantee that avoiding it is not a great strategy for a lot of people. Maybe it works for you, and if it does work for you, give me a comment below. But if it hasn't been working for you and avoiding it just making your life miserable, then maybe you should try something else. So if you find yourself craving alcohol, what do you do? Well, first of all, you could ought to remember it only lasts for about 15 to 20 minutes, and sometimes it lasts way less than that. It can last maybe a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. It doesn't matter. It can wane, but it's usually about 15 to 20 minutes according to Google, when I researched it. But in my experience, they probably last about 5 minutes when you have a craving. So you just got to take a deep breath and sit with it. There's something called riding the wave of your cravings. So you just kind of sit with it and be with it. And you want to get a journal. This is way better if you can write it down. But if you don't have anything to write it down, just think about it. But write down what you're feeling. Write down why you think you had this craving. What happened in your environment? Are you stressed? And you can ask yourself, Halt too. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? What's really triggering this? Is it comes to just kind of figuring out why we're having these cravings? And that's super important, because clarity is power, and power is the way you're going to do that. So ask yourself, why am I having these cravings? Is it actually going to relieve my stress? And another tactic you can use is ask yourself, is it going to do that? What is alcohol going to do for me? It's going to relieve my stress. Is it really going to relieve my stress? Now ask yourself, well, where did I get that idea? Did I get it from society? Did I get it from other people? Did I get it from an experience? What experience did I think? And just write those things down and think about it. Because what happens is you're going to have more clarity, and you're going to ask yourself, and then you're going to get more clear on what you need to do next, which is find out what the opposite is. If you think alcohol relieves your stress, then maybe the opposite is alcohol doesn't relieve my stress. And think about that. Has alcohol actually ever relieved your stress in the long run? Well, for me, it never did. It never did. I would wake up in that guilt and shame cycle. I'd be more anxious the next day. I'd feel sick. I'd feel regretful. I'd feel all these nasty feelings. So it didn't relieve my stress. It didn't relieve my social anxiety. It didn't give me more confidence in the long run. So ask yourself, what is it going to look like in 5 minutes from now if I take a drink? What is it going to look like in 5 hours from now? What is it going to look like tomorrow if I take a drink? Because I can guarantee you it's not going to look good if you're drinking too much, because alcohol is a poison and it's not good for you. So, and ask yourself, what's going to happen if I do drink? Okay, because guess what, guys? You can't avoid cravings. They're going to happen, especially in the first 1 to 10 days. You're going to have these cravings. You're going to have these triggers. You're going to have these things in your life, and you can't avoid them. Okay, avoiding them in places that triggered you in early sobriety. You can avoid them maybe in early sobriety, but it's just going to alienate you. It's just going to make you feel like it's going to turn alcohol into a can't have. I can't have instead of a don't want. You want to turn into a don't want. I don't want alcohol because I see it for what it is. It's a poison. I don't need it in my life. As opposed to can't have makes you think that you're gonna miss out on things. It makes you think that you're something wrong with you, that you're gonna miss out, that you're gonna have all these experiences that you're gonna lose out on because your friends are doing it, whatever. So you really want to change your mindset on that. And I'm a firm believer in realigning your mind to a better self-image of a non-drinker, and using that self-image to live your life. Look, I'm not a non-drinker. Alcohol doesn't even fit into my life anymore, and that's perfect, because guess what? I didn't want to do it anyways. I was just tricked into that addiction cycle. I was tricked by alcohol to making it think it gave me any sort of benefit at all, and I'm so much happier 3 years later without it. It gives me no benefit at all. There's nothing that I would even drink to do. So you got to get to that point. So, just sit with your cravings and get a notebook or a journal or a piece of paper, or even do it in your mind, but just sit and think, alcohol is going to relieve my stress today? Is it really? Where did that idea come from? And look at that and think about it. And then, ask yourself, is the opposite true? Alcohol is actually going to, make me more stressed. So it's something called exposure therapy. They usually use it for anxiety and things like that, but I really believe, I'm a true believer that you should expose yourself to being around alcohol. Not from the first 1 to 10 days. Because you don't want to be stuck in that relapse cycle. But you're eventually going to have to be exposed to these triggers, to these people, especially if you live with someone who keeps drinking or have to go to a social event. And the more you do that, and the more you build that muscle, and the more you're able to say no, and the more you're able to work with these cravings, get to go over them, realizing why you're having them, and work on that area of your life, the happier and healthier you're going to be, and the more comfortable you're going to get as being a non-drinker and living a happy, sober life. Because that's just the way it is, guys. You're going to have to become that non-drinker, and non-drinkers aren't going to care if they go to a drinking event, because they're not a non-drinker. They're not losing out on anything. They're not an alcoholic. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not diseased. They just don't drink anymore. And that's definitely where you want to be. So I hope that helped. A few more tips before we go. In the beginning, maybe you should just get rid of the alcohol in your house. Just make it a little bit harder to get. If you have someone in the house that's still drinking, that might be a little more difficult. But maybe you should just get rid of the alcohol in your house if that's where you need to be. Be aware of your environment. Ask yourself, when you're thinking of these things, what triggered me? Is it this chair? Because your environment could trigger you too. And be aware of your feelings and question them. Is that actually true? Is alcohol going to relieve my stress? Is alcohol going to do this for me? Break the pattern and do something different. Look, if you sit in the same chair every day and you're getting a craving, maybe you should get up and go for a walk. Maybe you should go to a different room. Maybe you should watch a different TV show. Maybe you should sit in a different chair, because breaking that pattern is always going to help you with that. And you can also try non-alcoholic drinks. Look, I never used use non-alcoholic drinks, but like I said, a lot of people use them. You know, maybe make a fancy drink. Doesn't even have to be a non-alcoholic drink. Try some kombucha. Try a special drink. Try celebrating with different kinds of drinks. Maybe a pop. Maybe something special instead of alcohol that won't give you that nasty hangover and that guilt and shame cycle. So yeah, that's something you can also try as well. So guys, I hope that helped because I know cravings is one of those things that people struggle with a lot, and I know that cravings are one of the things that I struggle with a lot, and it was really hard in the beginning to kind of be aware that I'm going to have to deal with that. I'm going to have to seek discomfort. So, and I had to just kind of sit with it and work through it. So get yourself a journal, figure out what's going on with your cravings, ask yourself if that's actually true or not, and then continue on. And even if you end up having a drink, every step of the way, just ask yourself those questions. Get those questions out and ask them every step of the way. When you go to the fridge, ask yourself. When you're gonna get up and get the keys to go to the liquor store, ask yourself. When you have the beer in your hand, ask yourself. Because the more you're aware of it, the more clarity you'll have, and the more ability you will have to get through it later. So anyways, guys, I'm a Sober Life Coach AC. You can subscribe to this channel. Please share it with somebody who needs to live a happy, sober life. Hope this video helped you. If it did, give me a comment below, and let me know that how it's helping you. Let me know some of your craving techniques that you've used in the past. Anyways, have a meaningful day. I will see you guys on Wednesday. I will see you guys on Friday with another video. Yeah.